So the market shifted. So now what? Follow me right after this. So in the market, the world has changed a lot. And yeah, some of it's good, some of it's bad. What's good for a buyer is there's a lot more homes available. Right now, we have almost 5,000 homes available compared to what we've had in the past, which is close to 2,000 homes. So we've almost doubled the amount of homes that are available. Now, why has that happened? It's mainly because the interest rates have changed. Right now, we went from having the interest rates in the low threes, high twos, all the way up into the 6, almost 7 range. What does that do? Well, that takes a buyer that normally buys a $400,000 house, moves them into a $350,000 house on the same house payment. So unless you're willing to pay more, it makes it a little bit harder for you to actually purchase a house. Now, what that also has done is it's kind of kicked out some people who are really ready to buy, and maybe they're not so ready to buy. What I mean by that is you had a lot of people that were like, wow, it's a great time to buy. It's a great time to try and move. I can end up capturing my equity on the house that I'm going to sell, take that equity and move it somewhere else. And I discussed equity on another video. So take a look at up here on the video part. I think it's whichever side it is. But we talk about equity at another time. But the idea is they were taking that equity and they were transferring it into the new property. So they were able to buy more or get a bigger, better house just by allowing themselves to take that $40,000, $60,000, $100,000 that they had in equity, and they would put it into the new house. So what it did is not only was their house payment similar, if not less, they also had more equity in the new house, which made it a bigger, better, nicer house that they were able to buy for basically the same type of thing. So the bad part is it did actually slow up a little bit on the market. So if you're trying to sell a house right now, it has slowed up. Instead of getting a house on the market and getting it sold in less than 24 hours, it's turned it into more of a 2 weeks, 3 week time period. We're actually having a little bit of inventory on hand. You're actually starting to see some of the buyers being a little bit more picky about it. We're no longer doing the $30,000, $60,000, $100,000 over the price and not worrying about an appraisal, because that was happening. I mean, we had a lot of people that were buying properties and they would either do a no appraisal gap, meaning that it didn't matter if it appraised or not, they'd still come up with the difference in order to make sure the house was purchased. Or what they were doing is they were buying the house and going above the price and they were just going to pay cash anyways. So it still had to appraise, but the majority of the houses out there are going to appraise anyways, just because the inflation of the prices. Now, inflation is a big part of that. The Fed's raising the interest rates is a big part of that as well. Did it help? Yeah. Did it hurt? Yeah. But is it a good thing or a bad thing? It depends on what side you want to look at. Having more inventory is great because that means you're not competing against 20, 30, 40 offers. Instead, if the house is really, really sought after, it's in a really, really great area, it'll still get sold in that first week. Sometimes we can have 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but it will get sold. The advantage is you're not competing against so many people, and you're not, as a buyer, feeling like you're trapped and having to force to spend so much more for the property. On a seller side, it didn't really help out as much because a lot of the sellers were actually enjoying the fact that they're able to walk away with an extra $15,000 to $100,000 extra. But their house is still getting sold. There's still such a lack of inventory in this Jacksonville market right now that, I mean, we're still needing a lot more houses. Until we get closer to the 10,000 houses that are available at all times, it will not switch from a seller's market to basically a neutral market. And then once we get past 15,000 houses, that's when we start turning into a buyer's market. Now, is that going to happen? I don't believe so. I think we're going to be still kind of stagnant in between maybe the 7 to 10,000 range. I still think it's going to be a strong seller's market. I still think we're going to have a lot of homes that are out there that are going to be available, which will help out the buyers. It'll help out the sellers because now they're not overinflating their properties and they're not going to feel that they deserve to get this. And it is going to slow up because for the longest time we were doing this and then we did this and now we're starting to do this. Will we do this? I don't think so. And that's because there's so many people out there that have equity in their house now, because the market pushed those prices up so much. If you normally bought a house for $300,000 and now your house is worth $400,000, and you have an issue or problem that's going to cause you financially that you're no longer going to be able to afford the house and you need to sell the house, now you have equity. What happens if you lost a job or get fired or transfer or whatever, and you have to sell quickly and you hadn't made a house payment for a little bit? You now have equity in your house, and therefore you're not doing short sales. We're not really doing foreclosures. Will there be some of those? Absolutely. There'll be some people out there that didn't understand the system, and that's the reason why you need to talk to a realtor. I highly suggest that. So make sure you talk to a realtor one day or another, and especially in this area, I'm available. Please call. My wife is available also, so just let us know. But make sure you talk to a realtor. Make sure you contact somebody and find out what your worth is on the house and see if it's worthwhile for you to actually put it on the market and buy a new house. Are you going to be paying a higher interest rate? Yeah, but guess what? The problem is everybody got spoiled with that interest rate for a long, long time. I mean, we were in the low twos at some point in time. That was better than what I had when I first bought my house. And I bet you, if you ask your parents and grandparents, that was way better than what they had. My parents bought a house back in 1960 something. I'm not going to say exactly what year, but they bought something back in 1960 something. They've lived in that same house. It's paid off, yeah. But when they bought it, they're at a 23% interest rate. People were back in the 70s and 80s, they were buying houses at the 17 to 15% interest rate. When I bought my house, I was at a 6.5%. So having a 6.5%, 7% interest rate, that's about normal. If you look statistically, that's about right. So I'm kind of glad it happened. And if you remember on a video that I did a while back, I told everybody it was going to happen. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you got some value out of this. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow along for other videos that I'm going to do. I try and post at least one of these things a week, and I try and post all the short little shorts. So watch out for my shorts all over the place, the little simple videos that I have. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Until next time.